Coming back to our discussion of the Sinai tradition, the Exodus from Egypt fulfills the promise that Yahweh made to Israel's ancestors. And that's an important part of the Sinai theology, that He's not delivering them just because He's a God who loves freedom and hates oppression. He's delivering them because He made promises to their ancestors centuries before. And the Israelites need to know that their liberation is not just for their own freedom and relief. Their liberation is part of a larger plan that God has been pursuing for centuries, keeping a promise that He made to their ancestors, who are now far out of sight. So there's this connected nature of the purposeful unfolding of God's plan in the Exodus. So the deliverance from Egypt and then the gift of the land are the two defining actions of Yahweh in the Sinai theology. He brought them out in order to bring them in. And so these two actions are the centerpiece of God's plan. Also, in the Sinai tradition, Yahweh elects and relates to Israel corporately. That is, He treats the entire nation as though it is an individual. And we don't see a lot of examples of private, personal piety. We don't see Israelites having devotions or exercising private piety. They obey the law of Yahweh. They fulfill the covenant. They don't worship other gods, all those sorts of things. But Yahweh elects Israel and relates to Israel corporately. So it's really important not to take the statements about election that apply to Israel as a group and then turn around and try to apply them to isolated individuals in terms of their own personal salvation. That is a wrong move hermeneutically. There is also in the Sinai tradition a conditional component. That is, at the heart of the Sinai tradition is the law. And it is not a crude, obey me and I'll bless you, disobey me and I'll slap your teeth out. It's not quite like that. It's more like God saying, as you live into my will in the law, you will discover the life that I have for you, that you will discover my blessings. The law is the path along which the blessings of Yahweh are found. So it's not crude cause and effect. It's not a crude retribution idea. The underlying idea is that the law is inherently good. It is not an arbitrary set of rules. It is inherently good. It is inherently the path to thriving. And so if Israel will walk the path of the law, they will in fact discover thriving. They will in fact be blessed. And if they get off the path of the law, they will experience cursing, not because a mad God is going to hit them with a club because they were having fun. They're going to experience cursing because they have wandered off the way of peace. They have wandered off of the path that is inherently aimed at their thriving. And so that's important to realize that the blessing and the curse, obedience and disobedience, are not crude retribution, but they're more of an inherent, intertwined picture of the very nature of reality. If you live delighting in the will of Yahweh, you will find the delight of Yahweh in your life.